Hey, in this video I'm gonna give you a breakdown of the great book called The Way of the Wolf by Jordan Belfort. It's an amazing book on persuasion and selling, so let's do it.
Unless you've been living under a rock, chances are that you've heard the name Jordan Belfort. He's the sales legend that the blockbuster movie The Wolf of Wall Street is based on, and Jordan being played by none other than Leonardo DiCaprio. He made millions, if not billions, in the stock market, which later turned out to be through some slightly illegal means. But after coming clean, helping the authorities and serving his time, he came back. But this time as a force for good and proper ethics. He redid his sales training to reflect that and laid it all out in a new and improved straight line selling system. But I'm not a salesperson, why do I care? Everything in life is some form of sales or influence. A mother trying to get her kids to make their beds, or a pastor delivering a sermon, or a politician acting on behalf of his constituents. Even you trying to convince your spouse to watch a certain movie on a Friday night. All of this is some form of influence. The ability to persuade, or in business terms to close the deal, is the single most important skill you can learn in your personal and your professional life. So even if you don't do direct sales for a living, I certainly don't, you can benefit a lot from the straight line system and Jordan Belfort's teaching. What is the straight line system? It is a goal-oriented communication. On one hand, you have your goal, whether that is selling the product or convincing your partner that pizza is better than sushi for movie night, it doesn't really matter. A goal is a goal. On the other hand, you have your initial contact with the person you're trying to persuade. And again, whether that is picking a phone to call a prospect for the first time or the first time you approach a colleague about something, it doesn't matter. The shortest distance between the initial point and the end goal is a straight line, hence the name, the straight line system. Your task as a communicator and persuader is to keep your prospect on the line as much as possible so they don't wander off, and at the same time move them along the line till we get to the desired end goal. Let's see how you can do that. The straight line sales approach has 5 core elements. First are the 3 tenets, the context being the prospect's current state of certainty on a scale from 1 to 10. In order for anyone to buy from you, they must first believe in the product itself. Does it do what it's supposed to? The qualities of it, the features. Same in your personal life. Trying to convince someone to go to a highly rated restaurant is much easier than making an argument about the cockroach-infested joint around the corner. The second thing your prospect must be able to trust and connect with is you. If you come across too strong or shifty, or there's just something off about your attitude, it is hard to sell even the greatest product. The final of the 3 tenets is trust and connect the company you represent. A good product from a trusted person is hard to sell if the company has a bad association in the prospect's mind. And it doesn't have to be about the company is bad, it's about what your prospect is associating the company with. So in the end, every word that comes out of your mouth is aimed to increase your prospect certainty at the highest level in the product or idea, you, and the company you represent. And keep in mind, there are 2 types of certainty, logical and emotional. You have to make an airtight logical case about your idea or product while also appealing to the emotions and gut feelings of your prospect. After all, most people buy on emotion and then justify the decision with logic. After you've covered the 3 tenets comes the 4th element, the action threshold. You're going to have to ask for the sale at least 2 or 3 times before you have any chance of the prospect saying yes. In order to move forward, your prospect needs to have a high level of certainty, and only after they cross over that certainty threshold do they feel comfortable enough to buy. And this level of certainty is referred to as the action threshold. People who are easier to sell have a lower action threshold, and those who are harder to convince a high threshold. And the final 5th element is called the pain threshold. Pain is one of the most powerful motivators of all time. People will do almost anything that they believe will avoid pain or resolve one of their current ones. So pain creates urgency, and it makes for the perfect vehicle for closing the tougher sales. At the end of the day, your ultimate goal as a persuader is to increase your prospect certainty about the product, about yourself, about the company, while lowering the action threshold and raising their pain threshold. But as powerful as the straight line system is, it completely breaks down in the absence of the most critical component of sales and persuasion. You need to take immediate control of the sale. And by the way, you only have 4 seconds to do it. The first 4 seconds. It takes about a quarter of a second for a prospect to make an initial decision about you, and you have about 4 seconds in total to establish yourself as 3 things. 1. You're sharp as a tack. 2. You're enthusiastic as hell. And 3. You're an expert in your field. In essence, you have to sound and act like someone who can help the prospect fulfill their dreams and their needs. You need to demonstrate mental speed and agility. Your enthusiasm about the ideal product subconsciously tells the other side that you must have something great to offer if you're so excited about it. You need to show them that you are worth listening to. They have a problem and you have the solution. And that is the essence of the straight line system. Moving a prospect towards the end goal while simultaneously establishing yourself as an authority and creating certainty about the product, the idea, and the company. And whether you're making a case for an actual sales or trying to quote-unquote close your kids on making their homework, these persuasion tactics can come quite handy. The Way of the Wolf book goes deep into tonality and body language and state management, prospecting, and even creating a great sales script, which are quite interesting topics but pretty narrowly related to professional sales, so they're not as universally applicable. I wanted to keep this summary to what everyone can benefit from, so if you're a salesperson looking for those specific tactics, they can only come from directly inside the book. Now, let's talk about how you can start using the straight line system in your life.
Hey, welcome back. So that was the straight line selling and the infamous Jordan Belfort. And if you do professional sales, I think you should eat this book cover to cover, implement absolutely every single tactic. But what if you're just a regular person? What if you're somebody who doesn't do sales and you want to just become a better persuader or a better communicator? I think there's a lot of things you can take from this book. And the most powerful one that I think anybody can implement is the part about the first 4 seconds. How do you come across to somebody else? And as Jordan mentions, you need to be enthusiastic as hell, an expert in your field, and sharp as a tack. And the way you get to that point is first you need to be aware of how do you communicate. So next time you're in a one-on-one or maybe you're talking to a small group of people, pause for a second, or maybe afterwards, maybe don't pause while you're communicating to the people, maybe pause afterwards and see how did you come across? Do you come across enthusiastic enough? Do you have enough energy? Or maybe have too much energy and some people take this to be an aggressive approach. Are you enthusiastic as hell? Are you really enthusiastic about the subject or the topic that you're discussing? Because you can fake enthusiasm, but if you're actually enthusiastic about what you're talking about, it's much easier to appear confident. Do you come across as an expert in your field? Do you come across genuine? Do you come across as like this is just a sales script and this person's trying to sell me something, or this person genuinely cares about whatever the environment might be? And of course, you're going to be very subjective because this is your opinion on your own actions, but you're going to start paying attention. And that's what matters. Once you pay attention, once you realize, hey, maybe my energy is a little lacking, maybe I'm talking a little too slow or a little too soft, then you can make steps to improve that. Because there's no one, although Jordan mentions that every sale is the same, not every salesperson is the same, not every person is the same. So what might be enthusiastic for me might not be your style. You might be more enthusiastic or less enthusiastic. So you need to find something that generally works for you. But the first step is self-awareness. Start paying attention to how do you come across. If possible, even get the feedback of the other people. Like once you get to know somebody, be like, hey, that first time that you met me, the first time that we spoke, how did I come across? Was I too aggressive? Was I not aggressive enough? Start getting feedback, and if you cannot, pay attention to give yourself feedback. Start becoming self-aware of the way you come across, and that's going to be the first step to actually making those changes and becoming a better persuader and a better communicator. Straight Line Selling System, Jordan Belfort, phenomenal book. And if you want more videos such as this one, reviewing some of the best books in self-help, in motivation, time management, in persuasion and selling, click on the subscribe button, hit the like button if you really like the video, share it with your friends, become a better persuader by teaching others how to do it. Have an amazing day, click on the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.